Everest Base Camp, 5th to 18th February 2016. Part 1, EBC Heli Rescue. Day 1, 5th February. Our group of 14 met in Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia, and took a 4-hour, 50-minute flight to Kathmandu. Got there about 9 p.m. and went straight to dinner. After dinner, we went shopping for extra clothing. Day 2, 6th February, Kathmandu, 1,400 meters, to Lukla, 2,850 meters, to Pakding, 2,610 meters. It was a rush, and most of us did not sleep to catch an early flight to Lukla. While at the Kathmandu airport, there was a loud bang. We thought nothing of it, but we found out it was a small earthquake that we were not aware of. After checking out the plane, a few nervous laughs, we boarded the Tara Air Twin Otter plane headed for Lukla, 30 minutes away, our stop to the trailhead for ABC. Lukla Airport have a very interesting classification in airport from around the world. Leaving Lukla, there were ladies knitting in the sun, lots of children with red cheeks greeting us, yaks and horse trains ready to leave. We were told that we're all going to share the trail and bridges with the animal trains, and they have the right of way. Always stay on the mountainside when passing a pack animals, and suspension bridges are one lane, and to turn back if a yak train is coming the opposite way. This trip will be interesting. While watching the ladies knit, one of our group, Cyril, did not see a mountain dog sleeping in the sun and stepped on its tail. The dog spun around and bit poor Cyril on his leg. No worries, just a friendly bite. When we reached Pakding, we were greeted with the money walls. First time I've ever seen the wall or tablets, very unique. We crossed the Dud Koshi River and Suspension Bridge, and we are on the way to Namche Bazaar. When we reached the gateway and checkpoint to the Sagarmatha National Park, our permits to enter the park were checked. I saw a couple with no guide had to turn back to Pak Ding. We were shown the track across the valley. I was humble. A giant stupa across the valley was only a white dot on the side of the mountain. We passed the stupa, down the valley to the riverbed. And there she was, the Hillary Bridge, as seen from the movie Everest. It was a long climb to the bridge. When we got to the bridge, looking down, I got vertigo and got a bit scared. The wind was blowing hard across the valley. Cross we must. You got to hold on to your hats or it will be blown into the Dud Koshi River. As soon as we got across, a horse train also crossed the bridge. Then a mule train. Busy morning. One mountain dog followed us from Pak Ding all the way to Tengbo Che Monastery. Friendly fellow, and we enjoyed his company, and he enjoyed the odd food that was fed by everyone with food to spare. Hope it was not the dog that bit Cyril. It was a bitterly cold morning as we started out the first acclimatization track to Everest View Hotel. The total landscape have changed overnight. It snowed the whole night and still snowing. We made it to Everest View Hotel but cannot see anything because it was still snowing. We got a fire going in the fireplace. After warming up a bit, it was time to go back to Namche. As soon as we hit the trail, it really began to snow. Can't see the landscape, but the guide knew the way back. The blizzard sure made for some adventurous pictures. It was an unforgettable experience. It was crystal clear, extremely cold morning as we climb up to leave Namche. After about 2 hours, we got our first view of Mount Everest with the jet stream blowing from her top. Noopse and the surrounding mountains covered with snow. After lunch, we saw a herd of wild goats, or geral, on a cliff watching us as we make our way to Tengboche, still a long way off. It was slow going because of the snow on the track. Day 6, 10th February, Tengboche, 3,860 meters to Dingboche, 4,410 meters. As we left Tengboche, I realized there was a monastery there and wish I had the time to visit the place. It was an eerie feeling as we walked past the collapsed suspension bridge. Cannot help but think, was there any casualties? I was getting very tired because of the distance and noticed I was walking quite slow. It was dark. Dane, guide Harry, and I were really late, but we carried on. Pulled out the headlights, but Dane's batteries were out, but can still see well enough to get to Dingboche well after dark. Must have walked about 8 to 9 hours. Day 7, 11th February, Dingboche, 4,410 meters to Choklung, 4,730 meters. Got up feeling okay. We all went for an acclimatization hike, but higher we went, it was getting harder to breathe. It feels like I was breathing no air, every breath feels like a vacuum. Had to rest every 10 steps. Called for our lead guide Hari. One look and he said, "Looks like I was having AMS and had to go back to Dingboche." When my colleagues came back, everyone was concerned and to call my insurance company for approval for rescue helicopter. I could hear our leader Gunnison sounded urgent to call for a chopper quickly. But I'm in Dingboche, there was no line. But somehow, in one corner of the tea house, my dear friend Nalini managed to call back to Malaysia for approval for medevac by helicopter. When all this was going on, Mujtaba gave me some medication and Abby just kept talking to me. By then it was past 2 o'clock and the weather has changed and fog rolled in. The helicopter pilot said they cannot fly in the fog and they are not allowed to fly after 4. They will try again the next day at 9 o'clock. The warmest part of the tea house is the dining room. All my colleagues will sleep with me in the dining room. Woke up early the next morning still feeling heavy. Had a cup of tea. That morning my friend Dane also started feeling ill and also decided that he should also go back with me. Don't take any risks. Day 8, 12th February. Helicopter came in at 9, flew Dane and I back to Lukla. Dropped us there, while the heli had to go back to rescue a group of 3 Argentinians. At Lukla, we met a German, Russian, and a few Europeans waiting to be hospitalized in Kathmandu for AMS. The helicopter came back and took 6 AMS victims to Kathmandu. An ambulance was waiting to take Dane and I to the hospital. We were in hospital overnight. I recovered okay, but Dane had to be on oxygen. We got a call that Melissa was also medevac out by helicopter when we were in hospital, also due to AMS. Because Melissa got sick further up the trail, Gunnison had to hire a horse to take her down to Dingboche before she was helicoptered out. Day 9, 13 February. All three of us recovered well. No worries, we were released from the hospital. Day 10, 14th February, Part 2, Kathmandu Chitwan National Park, 175 kilometers away. Once released from the hospital, Dane and Melissa took the first flight back to Kuala Lumpur. I wanted to stay on as all the hotels and food is already paid for. While waiting for my teammates to get back to Kathmandu, I made a booking to the Chitwan National Park, 170 kilometers away. A very bumpy 6-hour bus ride. Very well organized. Someone to send you and someone to pick you up. Arrived in Chitwan at 1, had a quick lunch and off for the elephant safari. It was a wonderful, if not tiring, experience. I saw crocodiles, rhinoceros, and a few species of deer and lots of birds. Hoping to see a tiger, but I was sure she was around somewhere. Day 11, 15 February. The next day, it was the canoe safari in a crocodile-infested river. It was a very interesting experience as we were in an ancient dugout with 4-inch water clearance in a crocodile-infested river. Something shrank within me, but I was cool and continued taking pictures. That afternoon, the park took me on a walking safari on the other part of the forest. I was the only guest. The guide only had a stick to protect us from tigers and elephants that is known to cross our path. I was cool and continued to take pictures. I saw rhino in the swamp, deer, and heard some wild elephants in the forest. We visited the elephant breeding program. Apparently, females in heat are only bred with the wild bulls, as the domesticated bulls' sperms are weak and the calf will die early. In the evening, all the hotel guests were taken to dinner and a Taru cultural show. Day 12, 16th February. After breakfast, the hotel took me to the bus stop for the 6-hour bumpy ride back to Kathmandu. Day 13, 17 February, I was back in Kathmandu and resting. Day 14, 18 February, Kathmandu, Garden of Dreams, Part 3. My teammates still not in Kathmandu, so I went to visit the Garden of Dreams. In the hustle-bustle, dusty city of Kathmandu, the garden is an oasis of peace, tranquility, and beauty within Kathmandu. It was built in 1920. For decades, the garden was neglected and was restored to almost its former glory. Restoration was from 2000 to 2007 with the support of the Austrian government. The restoration was completed, but some of the buildings have cracked by the recent earthquake, and it is now being restored, but still open to the public. It felt like stepping into another dimension from Kathmandu. It was so beautiful and tranquil. I still think that it was a dream. That evening, I was reunited with my teammates and had our farewell dinner and was given sashes as a token of friendship and farewell. Day 15th, 19th February. With sadness, we left Kathmandu and Nepal for our home in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia.